thanks, Jerry. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And
Thanks
sitting
for inviting
down.
me. Yeah.
Of course. So give us a little bit of overview of exactly what it is that Martin Supercharger does.
What we do is we do service and repair on superchargers. So street rods, drag race, boat stuff. Basically what we'll do is we'll get the unit in, evaluate it, fix what needs to get done. Usually we try and sell a repolish and stuff like that. And just get it finished and send it back to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So I'm sure that there's a lot of people that know exactly what a supercharger is. But when I first started working with you, I had no idea like what a supercharger was. Well, could you give like a brief?
I can give you a very simple answer.
Okay.
A supercharger is a glorified wind pump. That's what it is, because the equation is the more air, the more fuel, the more horsepower you can make. So that's what it does. It sits on top of a manifold. That's on top of the engine block, and it spins, and as it rotates, it grabs air from the top and it pushes it through the manifold into the motor. So you put more fuel to it, more air, you can make more horsepower.
So it basically just sucks air in.
Yep. As it turns, it drives air in through the supercharger and in through the block. So
that's fascinating.
Yeah,
man.
it's pretty cool.
That's super cool. So how'd you get involved with superchargers? You guys like pretty much specialize in superchargers.
Yes, that's all we do is like root style supercharger, which is that there's a lot of different kinds of superchargers, but that's the one that we are specific about working on. Mm-hmm. So the way that I got involved with it, I worked for a company. I worked for Enderley Fuel Injection years ago, and I was running machines there. And I've always told people I'm not a machinist. I've been in the machining industry for 30 years, but I'm not a machinist. So anyways, I worked over there and I was running machines, and I was working, and I'm like, man, I could run this shop, and I talked to some people over there, and they never really gave me the opportunity. I like stuff that goes fast, and that's why I like superchargers, because they make stuff go faster. So,
can we back up
Sure.
just a little bit?
Yeah.
It's like when you're saying I could run this shop, like what is it that you're seeing about the way that the shop is run?
Well,
it's kind of like bringing that out.
I don't know. For me, it's more of a drive. For years, I think it's just a personality that God's given me. I like to run things, looking around. Like I said, I wanted to make fuel pumps. I wanted to make the injector hats, but that opportunity never came about. So I was like, well, in my head, I'm thinking I can run this shop. So that's what I was kind of wanting to do. I'm like, I can do this, I can do that. But I just didn't have that opportunity. So
was it like looking around and saying like, I'd be capable of doing this stuff?
Yeah.
Or was it like,
at least in my head, I thought it was capable.
I want to be running this shop.
Yeah. I wanted to, because there's a lot of thought that goes into, making these things run right. And I wanted to learn those things. So, but, didn't have the opportunity. I talked to the people who ran the place, and they were like, oh, you need to put in your time. And, I'd worked there 3 years, and I know that wasn't a long time, but still it's like, I'm like, I think I can do more than what I'm doing, because I was just running machines. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So the way that I got into the supercharger part of it is a friend of mine from church owned the blower shop. And he was looking for somebody. He was looking for a shipping guy. So I'm like, I'll do whatever. Just want to get my foot in the door. So I went over and talked to him, and he hired me to do shipping. So I did. And after, a few weeks, I just started doing more and more. By the time I got done, I was building superchargers. I was the lead guy over there doing that, teaching other people how to do it, running that shop at the same time. And, that's kind of just where we kept going, was further and further. So I built them for about 8 years, and I like that aspect of it, but the part of managing the shop was more of what I wanted to do. So more customer relation, trying to get business in so I could feed it to the guys that work for me.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So dealing more with the people.
Yeah.
Dealing less with the mechanics and the machines, dealing more with the people.
Yeah.
So when you first got your job over at the blower shop, what was your motivation? You started in shipping.
I did.
And then you said in the matter of weeks, right? Like you started.
It didn't take long because
taking on more responsibility.
Yeah.
What was the motivation to can continue?
Like I said, I like things to go fast.
Yeah.
And the fuel injection part of it makes them go fast. And the blower is really what makes it go fast, because that thing's not going to move without that big wind pump on top of that.
That's what you were excited about. That's what you wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's cool things, because there's a drag boat race years ago, and I have it on my Instagram. And if you watch it, I built the blower that's on that boat. The thing runs 269 miles an hour,
Dang.
in like 4 seconds. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But if you watch that, I first time I saw it, I'm like, I built that thing. That's pretty cool.
That is.
So
That's totally cool.
Yeah.
So you're at the blower shop.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But you're still not, you're getting experience. You're building them. You are now transitioning into more of a manager. And now you're dealing with customers. So now you're dealing more with people.
Yep.
So how do you go from that to now owning your own shop or running your own shop?
Sure. The way that occurred was they decided to move out of state. They wanted me to go, which I appreciate. But we had lived there for a little while and it wasn't really anywhere I wanted to go back to. So when they left, what I did is I actually went to the March meet up in Bakersfield. It's a nostalgia drag race. And I had a conversation with the guys who own Good Vibrations Motorsports. Okay. They knew me from the blower shop, working there, but not to the point where they would like, oh, this guy's a good guy. So anyways, I went and I talked to them and I told them, I said, hey, just want to let you know, I worked at the blower shop, worked there for about 13 years at that point. I started, I'm staying here in California and I want to do my own business. So if you guys have any blower work, I'd appreciate you sending it to me. So God was good because they only went off of my word. And I know that God orchestrated all of that because they didn't know me from Adam.
Yeah.
So they just took my word for whatever I said. I talked to the owner, Jim, and he's like, we'll definitely send you work. And I'm like, that's great. I was really excited because I really had no credibility, but they trusted me. So I was like, okay, so I've had a really good relationship with Good Vibrations. And then over the last year, the blower shop actually is sending all of their repair work to me now because they're no longer doing blower repairs.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So they move out of state.
Uh-huh.
You pick up a good client.
Yep.
And then a couple of years later, now they're sending you.
They're recommending me. So if you call them, they're like, hey, call Jerry over at Martin Superchargers. He'll take care of you.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's a great place to be.
It's exciting.
So walk me through what the growth of your business has looked like over the past 2 years. I mean, there you were, you wanted to start your own thing. Okay. You landed your first client. They said that they were going to start sending you work. So what did it look like to actually start making those repairs and setting up your business?
In my head, I thought I could do this. And we were able to, but as you go, I still tell people nowadays that I really don't feel like I know what I'm doing because I don't really figure I'm a business owner. I do own a business, but I'm just a regular guy trying to, make ends meet, and enjoy what I'm doing.
What do you think a business owner is supposed to look?
I don't know. Professional,
wearing a suit and tie.
Suit and tie, yeah, of course. Not somebody who's swinging a hammer in a shop.
Mm-hmm.
So,
doing the work.
Yeah, we started. I didn't have anywhere to work on the Supercharger, so I have a guy that works for me. His name's Juan, and he is we started working out of his garage in Silmar is where we started. So after about a year after that, my day job, I work for Jay Pearson, so he leased me some space over in the corner of his shop, and I was very thankful for that. So that allowed me to actually bring more work in, which was good. So, and then Jay had recently moved in the last year to a new shop, and he told me, he's like, well, I don't have room for you anymore. So I'm like, okay. So my hand was kind of forced. I'm like, I have to go find somewhere to land all of my stuff because I had a couple machines, I had a press, I had a bunch of parts. I don't have any room at my house. So I looked around. God was good. Opened up a door for a small shop in town, and that's where we've been since August of last year. So
that's awesome, man. How did that feel? How did getting into your own space? How did that transform your business?
Well, it definitely opened up a lot of I want to present things well. If people come to the shop, I want them to see this guy looks like he knows what he's doing. I try and keep my shop, organized. I know Jay does a lot of lean stuff and I always give him crap for it, but I understand the concept, and for me, I just
So are you starting to implement that stuff
Oh
in
yeah,
your own shop
I
and
am.
with you?
Yeah, I have. It's been good because over at J Shop we've hired a couple of more people, and it allows me to actually think more about what I'm doing as opposed to just trying to get it done. And I've told Jay that, but we still go back and forth on the lean thing, so it's kind of funny.
Of course, man.
But yeah, with my shop, it's just it's allowed me to kind of have people come to my shop, and say, hey, you come over here and we can talk and figure out what you have going on, bring your stuff over. So
Do you have a lot of local customers
I do.
that are showing up to your door?
I do. Yeah. We have, I'm going to say probably maybe about half of our business at this point is in California, or at least mostly on the West Coast. Obviously a lot of people back east at this point, they're, buried in snow. So they're sending their stuff because it's, preventative maintenance for them. It's like, oh, my boat's in dry dock, so I'm going to send my stuff now. That way, when I want to go back on the water, when everything thaws out, I can get back on there and it's ready to go. So yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of local customers. So
yeah. So you're in your new place. How different does the business look? Is Juan still working with you? What does it look like? Kind of like on a day to day or maybe week by week?
Sure. Day to day is more of like I'm working during the day with Jay, and he's really good allowing me to take phone calls and stuff like that. So I keep my phone on me all the time, and I talk to customers throughout the day whenever they call, and I appreciate that he allows me to do that. So, and then I'll work my normal day job, and then after work I'll go over to my shop for about 2 or 3 hours, and then work till like 5 or 6 at night, and then I'll go home. So we do that most of the days of the week. In the last since the beginning of the year, actually, I've been taking 1 day a week off. So I'm working for Jay 4 days a week, and I'm working at my shop 2 days, like Friday and Saturday, we'll say. So it's been good. I'm very thankful we can afford it financially. Part of it is I'm thankful that I'm not eating off of this yet, like I was telling you before. But I'm excited about where it's going, because it's getting more and more busy. I mean, to the point where I have to take a day off. It kind of makes me nervous, but for me, it's like, even like with the shop, God keeps opening these doors up, and I have to take a chance. I mean, you have your own business, and it's like, I'm sure that's scary at some point. You got guys working for you too, and you're like, you kind of feel obligated to make sure that, you have work coming in, but God's the one who brings the work. So I'm very thankful, how he continues to provide for this stuff. So it's fun. I like what I do in both places. I like what I do.
Yeah.
So
do you see that maybe you'll transition into 2 days at your shop, 3 days at?
Well, this week it was.
Yeah.
I took a vacation day yesterday to do some stuff, and I have today off. So, but yeah, I think so. I mean, as long as Jay's good with that, which, like I said, I'm thankful that he's a really good boss, because he wants me to succeed, and that's very unusual. Because, normally your boss is like, no, you need to focus on what you're doing here, not what you're doing somewhere else. You can do that on your own time, but don't do it on my time. And he's not that way, which I am so thankful for. Over in the last year, I've bought a CNC machine. So now, as of yesterday, we're actually machining front covers, my own front covers. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it is. It's great. I mean, I have a lot of good people around me. That's why God brings the business, and he's the one who takes care of us. But he's put a lot of good people around me, like even like with you and your business, and Jay and Alex and Juan, and good vibrations in the blower shop. My wife is a huge part of our business. It's like, that's why I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm just being blessed by stuff that's around me. I got a lot of good people around me.
Yeah. So you're just like going with the flow.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're just like, okay, like this is what we got today.
Well, it's funny, like with anything, I like drag racing. So if you watch these guys, like at the track, and they get interviewed, and they're like, hey, what's going on with this? And he's like, you know what? I'm just the guy that gets to drive this thing. And that's kind of how I feel at this point, because I have a lot of people around me that are doing a lot of the work too. It's like, I'm not a programmer. So I hire somebody to help me, or I don't want to do all of this work because I'm trying to get business in. So I'll give Juan the work because I know he knows what he's doing. So my wife does some of the books, I'm just trying to get people in, to send their stuff in. And God's been really good. I have a weird reputation, I guess I'm popular. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a regular guy trying to run a business.
Yeah.
So,
that's awesome, man.
yeah,
It is. Like it's a big deal to have people around you that
it's huge.
you could trust.
Yeah.
And that they could just run with whatever it is that they have to do.
Yeah.
And everybody together collectively can do much more than what any of one of us individually could do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Jay had mentioned to me a couple weeks ago, he's like, I wish that I would have hired people like sooner. He's like, I was doing everything. I was machining, and then I would stop at this time and I'd pack everything, and then I'd take it to the UPS driver. I'd be chasing the UPS driver down. It's like, I don't want to do all those things. I really don't, I mean, they keep trying to get me to become a machinist, and it's like, at some point I'm going to learn some of these things. I know that, but that's not where I'm strong at. I like talking to the customers, and I have no problem building them either. It's like, I can do that too. I mean, I did it for a long time. So that's something that I have been doing lately because of the volume that we've been doing. But, I mean, long term, I'd love to teach my kids it, I need somebody else to swing a hammer. I'm getting too old to do all this. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And also the more people that you get involved, I mean, the easier it is. Well, not necessarily the easier it is, but, it gives you the bandwidth that you need in order to scale.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of the goal. I mean, people have asked me, you're like, well, are you planning on doing this full time? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it kind of scares me. It does, just because I had never really thought I'd be at this point. In my mind, I thought I could do all of this, but now I'm actually doing it, which is it's different. And it's scary, but I mean, as long as God keeps bringing the business and the doors keep opening up for doing these things, I'm going to keep moving forward. The awesome thing too is, like, with my business, there's no debt on my business. I own everything.
That's great.
I bought the machine outright. All the stuff that's in the shop is mine. So if I had to do something to where I had to liquidate everything, I could do it, and I won't owe anybody anything. So
yeah,
I like being debt free.
Yeah. Minimizes your risks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not as exposed.
No.
That's good, man. That's a good place to be. So what have been some of the main challenges you've kind of faced over these past couple of years?
There really haven't been a whole lot. Just learning different things, I guess. Like I told you, I don't really consider myself a businessman, but obviously with business, there's a lot of logistics and taxes and other stuff that you have to look at that normally you don't really think about because your boss takes care of that, but now I'm that guy that I have to try and figure out what we need to do and when we need to do it and how much we can spend and stuff like that. I mean, I wouldn't say it doesn't keep me up at night. I don't worry about it. I'm more excited about how things are going and the future of this. So, I mean, I don't really see I haven't had any downside as of yet with this. I mean, it's fun because I like it. Mm-hmm. I like making stuff go fast, and it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's less like work.
It pretty much.
And then, plus, I mean, you said that Kate, she's doing all the books.
Oh yeah.
So all that paperwork stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. I mean, I do some of it, but but she does all the computer stuff. I'm in the process of just maybe getting a computer down at my shop and, getting some more stuff just to get it set up to, at some point where I need to move forward with a bigger shop, then I actually have all those things in place. So that'll make it a little bit easier in transition.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what do you think Martin Superchargers is going to look like next year? I mean, last year before we started rolling, you were saying that, what was it? You had quadrupled?
Yeah, we were up 300% from the year prior. Yeah, which was insane. Mm-hmm. Just God was really good. I don't know what it looks like, and I don't ever want to presume. Yeah, because I don't know. But this year has already been really good through the first couple of months. So I don't know if we could do the same thing again this year. I have to rethink at the end of next year. Like, what are we going to do? I don't know. As things keep growing, then I'll address it at that point. But like I said, I just don't want to. I'm not going to presume on God and the stuff that He continues to do. I don't want to go get a big shop because I don't need that right now. Yeah, where I'm at is exactly where I need to be. I mean, I'm getting more and more stuff in there just because I'm buying more machines and stuff like that. But I'm okay where I'm at right now. Just take it one day at a time.
Yeah. That's all we can do, man.
Yeah.
All we can do.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the future, though.
Even when we make plans, like there's no guarantee that that's what's going to happen.
Oh, I know.
Like we have no idea, you know.
I know.
We just went through all this COVID stuff.
Yeah.
Like nobody was planning for that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't know if nobody was planning for it.
Oh, somebody might have been. You never know.
Some people were probably planning for it.
Probably. Yeah.
But all of us that were subjected to it,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, we weren't planning for it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was crazy because last year was all that stuff that was going on. It's like that was my best year that we had as a business.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's like it seemed like that was the way, at least the business owners that I've talked to, it was either the worst year that they've ever had or it was the best year that they've ever had.
Yep.
And so it's really interesting, man.
Yeah.
But that's exciting, dude. I'm excited for you.
Thanks. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, definitely. So if there was one thing that you were going to tell this to somebody that is thinking about starting a business or thinking about taking that risk, what would be that little nugget that you might tell them?
Plan for it. You know, just, you know, like I said, I really don't consider myself a business guy, but if I'd have been able to tell myself a few years ago, like, this is what you should have done, you know, maybe moving forward, you know, I just would have probably planned a few more things ahead of time, you know, try and put some other things in place before they needed, not necessarily before they needed to get done, but, you know, if you see things moving that direction, plan as much as you can, you know.
And what's the value that you see in that plan?
That way I could have been more prepared and a little more set up than I was currently when we started, you know. So, because I mean, things are good now, but I'm still looking down the road. I always am looking forward. I don't want to just stay in where I'm at now. I'm always looking. I want to further the business. That's what I invest in. You know, the money that we make, because this is, you know, a side business. The money that I make goes right back into the business. I save everything, and the money that I do spend is back on what we need for the shop. So I want that. I want the business to be successful, and for me, that's investing back into it. You know, I'm not going on vacation because of this, or you know, we made some money. It's like I don't want to do that. I don't need to do that. I'm very content with where we are, you know, as a family. So,
well, awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think this next year is going to be huge for you.
I pray that's the case.
I do. I do. And we'll have to have you back, and you can tell us all about it.
Oh man, that would be good to do. I would be excited about that.
If anybody wants to see what you're up to, where would be some good places that they could connect with Martin Superchargers?
You can go on Instagram's Martin Superchargers. Obviously, we have a website, so martinsuperchargers.com. You can call me if you got a supercharger you need work on. That's not a problem too. You know, I can give you the phone number if you want.
Awesome. Yeah, rattle it off.
Okay, it's 805-587-6981.
There we go. There you go. Everybody's going to get their superchargers taken care of now.
Busy.
That's what we do. That's what we do. Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Jerry.
My pleasure. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate your time.
Of course.
Of course.